Welcome back to my Super Metroid 100% item collection rate guide and walkthrough. In the last installment, we just took care of Dragoon. Seriously, what the hell kind of pronunciation of Dragoon is that? Ha ha ha. But okay, enough of the funny business. As we demonstrate the space jump, which has a particularly weird timing as far as jumping is concerned. It's honestly something you have to get used to, and I'm really not in favor of it, if I'm being quite honest, but it is needed for the rest of the game, so gonna have to get used to it, bucko. But since this video is unfortunately dedicated to filler, in which, yes, there are some items I do miss, I'm gonna be talking about some other topics that may or may not be really related to Metroid, since, well, this is my guide. I'll talk about whatever the fuck I want, and if you don't like it, go watch somebody else. So, I apologize for my long-ass Meridia rant that I did in the last installment, but make no mistake that this game is great. But it just has some problems, and I honestly think that Meridia is probably the only objectively bad area in this game. But, since this game is great, honestly, there is so much to love about this game. Meridia being a pretty big stink when everything else is godlike is, well, pretty alright. Now, we do get one last segment of this song, The City of Despair from Alien vs. Predator. I will be making one of the cut, but no need to worry. This is just me kind of fucking around and being like, ah shit. We are going to be going to go get the plasma beam, as I can't speak for some reason. But yeah, we're going to be getting that, and this will essentially allow us to do a lot more damage than usual. I believe it is the most powerful beam in the game, and when you combine it with the charge ability, you can get an even more powerful beam. But even using at least the plasma and the wave beam, you get pretty much, well, the most powerful thing on the fucking planet. And with, of course, the gravity suit, you can pretty much go anywhere without any real problems. But back what I was saying, Meridia is just, I really don't like it, honestly. Like, it always gave me problems as a kid, and just because I criticize something doesn't always mean I hate a game, okay? I know I say this a lot, but, you know, I do believe that games need to be criticized in order to make them better, or hopefully, you know, understand what people are coming from, and with Super Metroid, I do think it's a great game, and it's probably one of Nintendo's best games out there, honestly. It's a very well-mature game. It's a game that you can take seriously. It's not some goofy-ass Save the Princess bullshit, which, don't get me wrong, Mario's a great series of games, but, you know, you get so many of those games being the same, but you really don't get any games like this, honestly, and it's just, you know, this is definitely one of Nintendo's finest works as far as I'm concerned, but, you know, I'm not going to lie and say this game is perfect. Well, first of all, no game really is perfect, and before I continue my rant, you do have to kill all of the dudes in here before you come back, but there's going to be a story we'll be telling in a little bit, but I'm going to finish this one so I don't get sidetracked. But as you'll be seeing, I'm going to be unequipping the charge and ice beam, because I just want to go around shooting some shit because I'm an asshole, and, you know, I just want to spammy the plasma beamy and just enjoy the son of a bitch, because this weapon is honestly freaking great. Now, I do believe there are some charge abilities you can do if you charge the beam, I think, and then do some weird combination. I think there's one with the wave beam, but I haven't really figured this out. And as much as useful as it could be, I have not really experimented with it. It's really not necessary, although if you feel that it is useful, then go ahead and look up a tech guide. I'm sure there's some superior tech out there that'll help you with the game, but even with that one other thing I think that's shown in the demo with the, you know, refilling all your health, it might be necessary in maybe one area you can think of, but I didn't really find it to be useful, because if I'm going to be honest, I didn't really die at all in this guide. Like, I'm not even kidding. All the raw footage I had, I did not even need to make a save state despite the last time. The footage just got corrupted because of fucking Phantoon. And yes, I know it said Dragoon by accident, so don't shoot me. But speaking of Dragoon, I just want to go back again before I go into my little story about this game, actually, because I do have a little bit of a funny story to tell. Meridia sucks, and I'm not going to lie to myself. It's a great game, and I'll always watch people like Some Call Me Johnny's old review. I just don't care for his newer one, honestly, because his old review just pretty much needs to say everything there is to need to say about this game, unless there's some mysterious thing I've yet to see in this game, which I wouldn't be surprised if there was, but, you know, Few words need introduction with this game, but Meridia fucking sucks. Does it go against the entire game? No, it's just, well, Meridia sucks. And if you disagree, that's completely fine, but with the run back you have to do regardless, it just kind of ruins my mood to play this in a serious capacity. And unless I do a no-cop run, I'm probably not going to be playing this game again unless there's some really innovative ROM hack to just get rid of this bullshit, like having those green doors not just being there, because I think they really ruined the flow of the game. But transitioning into my little story of this game, I actually decided to play this game on the Switch, because for those who don't know, there is a Nintendo Switch subscription that is included as one of the features of paying online on a fucking Nintendo system, which honestly, it was only a matter of time before even Nintendo themselves succumbed to such scammy bullshit. But to be fair, their prices at least were pretty effective, only $20 a year. You get horrendous online, not every game is cloud support, which is fucking retarded. I mean, shit on Sony all you want, but at least with PlayStation Plus's cloud service, you can use it on pretty much any fucking game, even the games on PS3 that still do not allow local copying. It's fucking dumb, but games like Dark Souls on Switch, if you're paying for Nintendo Switch Online, you might as well have fucking cloud access. I have no idea why Nintendo is so behind times when they can't even get the fucking online functions right. And them selling emulation is fucking dumb. Now, say what you will about them doing the same thing with the Virtual Console, but at least the lineup of games is a lot better, and their systems was a hell of a lot more variety. Oh, by the way, this is a room that I actually missed in the last part. I do apologize. And before anyone tries to auto-correct me, I do actually turn off the space jump just to show what I would have done with this room otherwise, because I somehow missed this room. It says a giant turtle with, I think, supposed to be a reference to fuzzy meatloafs. I didn't stutter, bitch. But this actually gave me a little bit of trouble than I initially thought, and this is because of the failing of the grapple beam, which you have to time yourself or just use the space jump to get it, but because I honestly forgot about this room because it is hidden behind a pretty obscure wall. I'm pretty sure the map could have probably saved me, but I didn't have it at the time, so you get to watch me fail collecting this energy tank, which, going back onto my little rant about Nintendo and their online subscription to play the games on the emulation, they're okay, I guess. Like, I'm not really happy with having to pay for emulators on a service, but I guess much like with Xbox Game Pass, that I guess is a thing, you still have to pay for both online and that, so, you know, why not just have a thing that at least lets you pay a good amount of money and get a subscription? I mean, it's not like Game Pass is going to benefit your online play, which I fail horrendously getting this, but when I was actually playing this on my Switch, because I figured why not actually, you know, try to get 100% in a minimalist amount of time, which one thing I will give the SNES Switch Online is that it has a built-in rewind system, which, Jesus Christ, if you ever watched Django Video Game Nerd, there's a dude on there who, I don't know if he's still there or not, I'm pretty sure he is, and if he isn't, then, well, I'm certainly way behind the times. There's a dude on Cinemassacre who goes by the name of Mike Pate, and he, quite a while ago, made a little tangent about if you use the rewinds in a freaking SNES Switch Online, you did not beat the game, and I can't quite remember what I said, and before someone tries to pull up exactly what I said, but I'm going to add this on there in case I didn't. I hate to say this, Mike, but you do realize that a lot of commercially sold games do have emulators on them as well, and they usually come with a little thing called save states. Even your precious little Sega Genesis collection, which is horrible by the way, do not buy that under any circumstances unless you get the Steam version, which has Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Those have save states, so are you going to complain about people using something that even I myself use on unofficial emulators? I understand that there is an obligation to try and beat these games without using such tools, but not everyone's gonna have fucking patience, and I played this game way too much. Although I have done it before, and when I do my own incarnation of Let's Plays, with them. I try not to do that, and funny enough, this is actually going to go back to my little story about Metroid in general. I have actually played Metroid, the original, back on GameCube through Metroid Prime. Now, I do have this little thing called the Action Replay disc, and the media memory card thing that lets you basically insert your own version of Homebrew, and one of the apps I really like to use... I said apps. No, I'm not doing that joke again. Fuck you. One of the programs I like to use on there is this little memory card manager, in which... I think I mentioned on Twitter quite some time ago is that I really like the idea of save manipulation through emulators, and this is honestly probably one of the greatest things that emulation has achieved, because with something that allows you to take data from, say, a GameCube memory card, or even besides GameCube, you can take data from, say, the, cartridges of, say, the Super Nintendo, or the Genesis, or even something like the Game Boy Advance, or anything really. You can essentially take the data of old and preserve it into a file. It's kind of like that weird little saying that Mei Ling did in Metal Gear Solid with pictures and stuff, but it honestly kind of holds true with, memory card files. And what I really like doing is just, taking those and just preserving them in ways that I never thought I'd be able to do, honestly. And of course, the other way can also be done, where I take said files and just, put them on there so that I can easily access the unlockables without actually having to go for the game. One of them being for games like... Shit, I can't think of the name. It was this game based on some anime that I actually tried streaming on the early days of Twitch, and I got my ass kicked on hard mode, but there was a save that I found online that has everything unlocked, and I pretty much use that, since going for the game normally is such a fucking joke, but now whenever I play with friends in a real system, I don't have to worry about going for that bullshit, which is pretty nice actually, since, it saves me a lot of time and stress. And since I actually bought Super Smash Bros. Melee, I can make my own save using the built-in Dolphin emulator with GameShark that pretty much has everything unlocked, or Action Replay, sorry, and I can just have my own little save that has all the characters and stages unlocked, everything ready to play the game once again, since people love to say it's one of the greatest games ever made, which is fucking hilarious. But as far as what I'm doing at the moment, I am going to be heading back to Brinstar, because there is a item that I missed, which I talked about in the last part, or in the last two parts, I think, before I went to the wrecked ship, where I completely missed an item. But it turns out that there is actually a freaking fucking invisible walls or some shit that doesn't let you wall jump, and you apparently have to get this by just doing that. This is honestly one of the dumbest things about this game, honestly, as far as secrets are concerned. Because you have this fucking invisible fucking blocks that are literally just laid out for no real reason, and yet you're just kind of excited to come back here with the fucking gravity suit and the space jump, which I really don't understand, as I do a fucking fail right there. But going back to my my story about Mike Matei, sorry. I did beat Metroid 1 legitimately through the original Metroid. By the way, make sure you click that second missile. The game is very tricky about that. This game has definitely case of gotcha moments where you literally have to do that shit. And let me tell you, that was no fucking fun. Now, yeah, I had to pull up a fucking map because, the game is honestly not that well cohesive. It's definitely one of those games that's just, it definitely requires a guide, dang it, and there are clearly some areas where you have to go through a illusory wall of some sorts, except the game doesn't really do a good job. I actually made another edit where I tried myself trying to see if I can get this without the gravity suit, but I said fuck it, it's not worth showing, so I'm just seeing a little transition, me pausing the game on equipping that. I might have taken some damage, but it's fine. It's really nothing worth showing off. It's just wasting time, honestly. And probably parts like that is why I sadly did not get the under 3 hours. I think it's like maybe a half hour wasted or some shit. And I really tried my hardest, honestly, because, I actually did try to go for this game on the SNES Switch Online, and I actually came pretty close to doing so because of the rewinds and shit, but, let me tell you, trying to beat this game with minimal items definitely makes the game a lot harder. It's definitely one of those games where the more items you have, the easier it is, honestly. But now, there is actually one item here that I actually missed, which I'm gonna have to come back for, because I fucking mess up like a bitch. With the rewind system, it definitely was plausible, but this is one of those games that after you beat the game, it just kind of soft locks purposely, and you can't really get past the ending screen, kind of like with Super Mario World. So once you see those item collection rate, you're not going to be able to do much else. The original Metroid's not a bad game, but I just don't think it's aged very well. And out of all reviews of Dark Lord Shadow 1, I can definitely understand its perspective, since, yeah, Metroid, I wouldn't say Metroid 1's a terrible game, it's just one that's probably aged the least. Like, even at least the original NES Zelda is somewhat better, but I can definitely see why the earliest Nintendo games have not aged the most gracefully compared to its other sequels, where, you know, A Link to the Past was best on there. You have, obviously, Super Mario World, which is already great, even though some might say that Super Mario Bros. 3 was at the peak of the series, or some shit, but it seems like whenever Nintendo makes a third game in something, it usually seems to do so well that it's not even funny. Now, I do actually save here, but I did go back because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm missing something. So I end up going back. So if you're wondering why I do a save there, it's because I had to pause the emulator and check where I was going, because I completely forgot where the hell I was going. So you'll have to excuse me. I'm not fast-forwarding this or anything, because I'm going to continue my story, so, you know, don't mind the gameplay. It's just story time, so you're going to listen good, okay? Good, now shut up. But I mentioned this in I'm going to mention another video, but Metroid is just a really weird game, honestly, at least the original game. Like, going through Tori was probably the worst experience I've had with a Nintendo game, and it just sucks, since it's just, like, everything else was kind of okay, but Tori just completely kicks your ass, and I might elaborate a little bit into that, since the final video is just going to be leaving lower not fair nor fair, and then just going straight to Torian. So that's going to be that. So that's going to be one little caveat of mine, is that I'm going to be talking about Torian before we get to Torian, since honestly by the time we get to Torian, I'm going to have to talk some strategy, since I wouldn't say Torian in this game is necessarily hard. Oh yeah, by the way, there's one other area I do miss, and it's actually the area I mentioned in another installment, which is this little room. Or actually, wait, I'm making me going somewhere else, I think. Oh wait, there's actually two rooms I missed. Yeah, there's actually one room that I actually did miss, which is this little room where you get the missile that I got earlier, but apparently you can use a power bomb in this area, and you can access a completely cheeky hidden room, which is weird as hell. Which for some reason you can actually blow up with the... You can actually leave if you kill these enemies, which, you know, I try to use a cheeky little super missile there to get another fucking power bomb, but, you know, that's that. But there's always something to with these games as far as I'm concerned. And of course there's that one other room that I forgot, which is the room where you need both the gravity suit, sorry, don't shoot me, and of course the speed booster, since, you know, there's really no reason to go there, since there's pretty much nowhere to get it unless you get both items. And of course there's that fucking door. Seriously, I have no idea what the hell it's there. It's just fucking weird. But down we go into this little hole where we will get yet another, I think, energy tank. And if you collect all the energy tanks in this little guide here, you should have them all by the time you get to Ridley, who will be fighting in the next installment, since the next fight will be all of Lower Norfair. I'm sorry, Lower Not Fair Norfair. And then the final video will, of course, be going for Torian, although I'm going to also be showing off the run from, you know, Lower Not Fair Norfair to Torian, since, you know, and because the game doesn't really have much going on in that department, it's going to be a little bit of a tangent. So NES Metroid is definitely a interesting specimen, honestly. I've seen Trav's review of it, and it wasn't too offensive. I don't want people to think I hate Trav or anything. I have talked about it at least, I think maybe once on Twitter, and that was just because I disagreed with him on taking out on Doom, which, you know, it was cool to have interaction, but I have nothing against the guy, okay? His videos are usually harmless, even if there's a couple jokes I really don't find funny. The only video I would really say I really don't like is his Halo 1 video, which I guess kind of makes sense, but I don't know. I might have to do a little response to that before plugging my own shit in a completely irrelevant video, but I don't know. Halo 1 is, his Halo 1 video definitely was not the best video I've seen, even after he's, you know, upgraded his channel as far as I'm concerned, but his videos are usually a treat, and I usually try to tune in, because I know that I've essentially called him the next incarnation of Some Call Me Johnny, passing on the torch, because, let's be honest, Some Call Me Johnny's going to do this forever. He's been on YouTube for quite a long-ass time, and I don't know if he's going to be quitting anytime soon, which I personally don't know, since I really don't follow him anymore, because, I'm going to be honest, I've kind of grown out of him. Not to say that he's, you know, lost respect or anything, unlike other people, but, you know, he's still very much popular. You know, I wouldn't say he's my absolute favorite YouTuber, unlike Big Al, who he will always be my favorite, even if he isn't as popular as he used to be, but that's perfectly fine, because, you know, he's got his own audience, and I am proud to be one of them. Just as long as he doesn't do some bullshit, but as far as I'm concerned with him, he has pretty much really done nothing wrong in recent memory that would consider a unfollow, because he is my biggest inspiration on YouTube as far as I'm concerned, along with, of course, Seth from 17 and Big Benedict, because I am refilling my shit, since we're going to be needing to stockpile up on a whole bunch of stuff, which I don't think these are actually dropping anything, so I'm just going to continue on my little story. Whenever I realize it's a fucking dumbass idea. Pass play, I move along, you're fucking retarded. See, I'm an equal offender. I almost said equal opportunist, what the hell? But anyway. So, I have a feeling that John, I don't know when he's going to exactly quit. I'm not going to make a prediction saying that, oh, he's going to quit this year. But no, it's just, there might be a point in time where, you know, he just kind of stops doing YouTube. And it's going to be a sad day when he does, because I really like his videos. I think that they are, at least his older videos, obviously. Like, even when watching his Castlevania on Saturn Let's Play, that is a Let's Play I'll always love watching. Even his older videos before Elliot and, I think, well, obviously, before Matt came into the picture. I know there's a couple ones with Elliot and, yeah, Elliot in it. And I think his brother Mark, John's brother Mark. Now, I've said this before, but I really don't care for Matt. Yeah, I almost said Mark. Mark is fine. Matt, I don't care for so much. He is probably the least interesting person on there, and I'm pretty sure the SCP likes to play as more members, but Matt is just someone I never really cared for, and I'm not saying he's an asshole, but I just don't think he's all that funny. Like, I don't know, I just never really cared for his attitude in some aspects, and it annoys it, because I know he does have some really good moments, but they're rarely there, and, like, if there was a choice between me watching, say, Johnny's old-ass Sonic Adventure 2 Let's Play, or the modern one that they did, because he somehow accidentally deleted it, when I'm pretty damn sure I remember watching them, he fucking matches ruins it, in my opinion. Like, the only bit I really like in the first part of every Let's Play is that he always has some little funny-ass catchphrase. By the way, I should mention, this room can go suck an ass, because every fucking platform on this always disappears, and it makes getting this fucking missile tank a bitch. I have tried to get this in other ways, but if you want to get the best way possible, just use the space jump, or get a really well-timed shot with the wave beam, and then just go for it, because getting that missile tank is a fucking bitch. Anyway, I just don't think Matt is all that funny. I mean, again, I'm not saying he's, you know, a horrible person. I'm sure he's a chill dude. I know that him and John have been friends for a long time, but I just don't think as a person, he just doesn't really add anything, you know. And not saying that he's the reason why I stopped, because, you know, even watching Elliot play Ellie Noir, I thought that Let's Play was okay, but it's just compared to the older ones, it just doesn't hold up. But, I don't know, I just don't really like Matt. If anyone's from watching them, I'm really sorry if I'm saying this, but it's just how I feel. You know, I'm not gonna go on a fucking response tangent, just make fucking stupid-ass videos talking about Matt, because it's just not worth it. I mean, I don't think he's done anything that would make me warrant not liking him, it's just, I don't think he's funny. but that doesn't mean I'm going to not recommend people them, because I think that the SCB Let's to Play channel is probably some of the most genuine Let's Plays out there, but they're not for me anymore because I've had my time in the sun. You know, again, I will always watch the old Crash 3 Let's Plays with great memories because I think it's some of the best stuff that's out there on YouTube. And the fact that you even have people back when, I think when DSP played the remastered version of Insane Trilogy and saying that Elliot did better, just fucking stop ruining my childhood, seriously. Rule 34 does enough of that. And honestly, even with DSP failing, like, at least Elliot actually makes it funny. Like, yeah, we know that Elliot, you know, he does his I press jump moments, but fucking DSP's been playing games way longer, and yet he can't do basic shit. Like, when he fucking played Bayonetta, he was stuck in that fucking grave, I think, for like 10 minutes or some shit. I don't think Elliot ever came anything close to doing that, and if Elliot did something like that, it was probably funny. Like, seriously, I would rather watch Elliot play Crash 3 than DSP any day of the week, because at least when Elliot fails, it's actually funny. You know, you can suck at video games, but you have to be funny at it, because if not, and you blame the game a lot, you just kind of come off as being dumb. And especially for someone like DSP who's been on YouTube since 2008, not all of his videos were horrible, but they definitely were signs of it showing that he was just completely incompetent. But, you know, there are older Let's Plays of DSPs I do like. You know, his Doom 3 one, for example, I thought that one was actually alright, and his initial Dark Souls video, I thought this was actually kind of fun and relatable, but, you know. Then the live capture thing happened, and everything changed. And then when he moved to Washington, that changed. And when he broke up with his ex-girlfriend, everything changed. Then when he met his now fiancée, everything changed. Everything has changed between the years of when DSP just used to make videos in front of a camera, just like everyone else. And now he's just this fucking train wreck, and yet people are comparing a fucking train wreck to someone who's actually funny, and I'm personally a little offended by that. Because Elliot, even when he's failing in games, he can actually be funny. And that's the thing that I always liked about the old videos of when Elliot was mainly playing, is that his fails are always funny. Even their very first Let's Play, when they did, what was it, Super Mario Brothers? You know, the original NES game, fucking Elliot can't get past the damn World 1-1. Like, shit. That was fucking funny as hell. Because he made it entertaining. If it was DSP, he'd probably fucking rage quit and then lock his fucking playthrough onto a fucking paywall. It's fucking dumb. But here's a cheeky little shortcut. You can't go further, unfortunately. This would be an awesome sequence, make it though it's possible. But no, the game doesn't want you going that way. But we will be coming back for here later. I apologize for the tangent, but like I said, there really isn't anything going on. There are some bits I'm going to have to edit out, unfortunately, because I caught them during editing. And I really wanted to get this guide out there because this has been kind of in a dormant state for too long. And I know the Dread's obviously out by now, and I try to avoid a lot of spoilers, although I know there are some things, not going to discuss it, because obviously it's Super Metroid, and Metroid Dread is a completely different thing. But for the bits I've played of it, it's not too bad, although I definitely have to criticize the fact that a Metroid game in a modern time does not allow you to rebind controls. Nintendo, seriously, what the fuck are you doing? The fact that you do not have rebindable controls when this game has it is fucking stupid. It's fucking retarded, honestly. That's probably the dumbest thing about the game so far, but there might be other things, but I know David Jaffe had a crack at it, which, you know, I really don't care. He was a video game developer, so I can probably take his word a lot more seriously than most critics out there who claim to know video games when the man's made Twisted Metal, which is one of my favorite PlayStation IPs of all time. And even with this fucking PlayStation Xbox war going on, of course Nintendo on the sidelines, even though I'm pretty sure they're just as important, as I'm rounding up in Power Bombs in case you're wondering, because some enemies are, I think, coded to drop some of the more powerful items like the bombs, and I don't know why I didn't go after that other one, but whatever. But, you know, as far as David Jaffe is concerned, he is free to express whatever. I don't care if people compare to fucking DSP, because he's actually made games, you know, mainly Twisted Metal 1, 2, and Black. Maybe Head On, but I'm not sure. But I know that it has Twisted Metal in there, so I'm guessing he had some involvement. And of course, there's also the God of War games, which only the first two, but I did play them, unfortunately, back in the day. Which I'll probably talk about another time, because this video is almost over. And then, of course, he also had involvement in Twisted Metal 2012, which, with the exception of the racing and some other design choices I just don't care for, I feel it's probably the best PS3 game of that time, with the only other thing that I would really say is a lot better is 3D Dot Game Heroes, and that's generally because that game is essentially a Atlas published version of The Legend of Zelda, and of course it's just fucking wonderful. Greatest PlayStation 3 game ever made. But honestly, as far as Elliot being compared to DSP is fucking stupid. I don't know if Johnny's seen it, but it's just fucking dumb. Just let the good old days of watching SCB likes to play in their own time frame and let DSP do his own thing in his fucking hog box. It's completely stupid. And as I said, it ruins my childhood. But thankfully in the next video we won't have to go into quite a tangent because in the next one we have to talk about some strategies. So I hope you enjoyed this little rambling of mine. And I hope this guide is being helpful. 2 more videos left and we're done with this game. Thank you for watching and you take care.